You know, it was a tremendous weekend again for our football program. Two numbers really stand out to me, 98 and 6. You know, we've had football for 98 years here, and to have the top two highest draft picks ever in the history of our program occur on the same day this year was truly historic. And I'm thrilled for Forrest and Taiwan. They both deserve everything that's coming to them. And the 6 is, you know, as you guys probably saw, there were only 6 programs in the country that had more players drafted in the top 72 picks than Western Kentucky did. And that's pretty amazing. And to think that we had as many players drafted in the top 72 in the draft as the entire Big 12 conference combined. I mean, I just think that illustrates how far this program has come and really what the new normal is. And I think the new normal for us is these types of achievements related to the NFL. I mean, this year we have 10 players now going to camps this weekend. Last year at the time we had the highest ever, which was 8. And you know, you think about that, that's basically between a third and a half of our senior classes now are going to NFL camps. That's really where this football program is.
Do you think that sort of feeds back into the current program too, that maybe recruits see the success of the guys going to the NFL and it sort of becomes a cycle and starts doing some good things for the program?
Oh, I think so, because, you know, a lot of times whether, you know, even in life when you take a job, I think you want to know what it might lead to, and certainly for anybody playing high school football, they want to look at a program and know not only what they can achieve there, but what possibilities they might have after their playing career is finished. And so, you know, the fact that we have 16 players that will be in NFL camps this weekend certainly shows what kind of opportunities you have here as a football player.
Todd, bear with me on this. I might go a little directional here. One thing I thought of in regards to the recent NFL draft and the whole WKU football program is Gonzaga basketball and them going to the national championship game. And I read somewhere John Stockton last played there in '84, but between '99 when they got the Elite Eight and now, their enrollment has just exploded. I mean, I want to say it's more than double. Everyone there says all the other great academic things they have, yes, but it's basketball that's correlated with that. And do you find what's happened with football, I don't want to compare it to Gonzaga, but it has brought a lot of additional positive exposure in not just football and sports, but maybe other areas as well?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. You know, we actually have a saying here within athletics, a rising tide lifts all boats. And what we mean by that is when one program succeeds, that's good for everybody because it enhances all the other programs. And I really believe the success of our football program, you know, what has been achieved over the last 5 years has enhanced our entire university and Bowling Green, Kentucky. And, you know, what I mean by that specifically is just look at what's happened from an exposure standpoint and from an achievement standpoint over the last 5 years. I mean, in 2012, we made a bowl game for the first time. Then in 2014, we won a bowl game for the first time. And then you just fast forward. We won a bowl game 3 straight years, won 2 straight conference championships. Incredible TV exposure, you know, that's come with that obviously shines a favorable light on the university anytime we're on TV. And I mentioned before, we have 16 players going to NFL camps this weekend. I went back and looked it up, and they're going to 12 different teams. So you have Western Kentucky, the Western Kentucky brand in 12 cities across this country because of our football program that you wouldn't otherwise have. So I think tremendous credit goes to really our players and our coaches for what they have all done to take the program to where it is now and enhance the university in the process.
How confident are you that the new coaching staff can keep developing players and keep sending them onto the league?
Well, you know, I've always said I like the challenges that come with winning more than the challenges that come with losing. And obviously each year we've really achieved more and more, and in doing so it becomes harder to do that. But what I really like about our staff that we have right now is there's still some places we haven't been yet, and there's people on our staff, including our head coach, Mike Sanford, that have been to the places that we haven't been yet. And I think Mike's experience as a player and a coach at Boise State and the staff that he has assimilated here, they have high goals. I mean, they have embraced where our program is right now, but really have dedicated themselves to taking us even higher. And our players, to their credit, have embraced that as well. And I think it's led to a very exciting spring.
I know right now in the football facility there's jerseys of all these guys, some posters, and to continue to do so, that sort of thing to honor than where they are now and where they're going.
Definitely. Definitely. We will continue to do that. That's become a nice problem every year. We kind of have to redo the entrance to the facility and the inside because we've really tried to highlight bowl wins and conference championships, and certainly our players that are in the National Football League, and we'll have to do that again, and that's great. It's great to celebrate those kinds of things because we all remember the days when that wasn't the case. And I even remember back when I was Kyle Neves and it was 2008 and David Elson was our head coach, and it was the first year that Western Kentucky was counting as an FBS member, but we weren't eligible to win a conference championship or go to a bowl game. Now, obviously, we wouldn't have anyway, but we weren't eligible to do that. And Sports Illustrated ranked every FBS team that year in the preseason, and they only went from 1 to 119. They didn't even include Western Kentucky even though we were the 120th member of the FBS that year. We weren't even included in that ranking. So, we go from 2008 to not even being included in a national ranking, even at the end of it, to where we are now, and it's been great to see.
Todd, would you say that the success of the football team over the last few years was one of the main factors in the switch between Russell and Nike? Kind of expand on looking forward to with that new partnership.
Well, I don't really want to get a lot into that right now. Once the season finishes, with baseball and softball, we'll talk about that. A couple things I would say. First of all is a major shout out to Russell. Russell Athletic has been a great partner for the last 10 years, and we've talked a little bit today about the growth really of football, but we've had major growth in many of our sports over the last 10 years, and Russell Athletic was a big part of that along the way. Everybody's business model changes. I think theirs has changed, and ours has changed, and Nike has come along, and we're certainly proud to be associated with them moving forward, and we'll talk about that more this summer when we get the new uniforms in.
Todd, I want to deviate for a moment on doing something on Docky at the red versus white game. I was asking him about his childhood memories of coming here, and he said, well, I remember every football game during the 1963 season. It sunk in. I'm like, I wasn't even born yet. And I was going to ask you, I know you can't put Docky into a 20-second soundbite, but your impression of when you first met him and just what you continue to think and develop in regards to him since.
Yeah, it's hard to put 47 years into a 30-minute documentary, so I wouldn't try to do that justice. But I think the thing among many that I could say about Bill Edwards is he's one of those people, and there's not a lot, but he's one of those people that you never hear anybody say something bad about. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Bill Edwards. He's just been a true credit to his profession, to our university, and certainly our athletic training staff.
Anything else?
I do have one more.
Mm-hmm.
Within your position in regards to football, have you noticed the amount of contact or response that you get from administrators that you cross paths with? It doesn't even have to be collegiately, but during your days in the NFL, because of what the football program has done in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yes, it's funny. I was at the Final Four and just running into people there, and even though that was a basketball event, obviously, the first thing that they talk about is football and what the football program has achieved and how far it's come and who we're playing, and that's another thing I probably should point out here. That kind of indirectly relates to the draft is our scheduling. If you paid a lot of attention to the coverage over the weekend, with all of our guys, but I think with Forrest, a lot of things were mentioned about how well he did against Alabama, and that's one of the reasons why we play those games. I think we have a responsibility, here in the athletic department. To put our guys in the best position to succeed, and that obviously starts with the locker room and the strength and conditioning area and how we travel and where we stay and what we eat and all those things. But also, there's a two-pronged part of scheduling, and with the scheduling philosophy that we've adopted, we obviously want to play the best teams, and we want to play regional games where we can so that we have fans that can go to those games. We have a core group of fans that love to travel. And so playing those type of games enable them to do that. But we also want to play games that not only give our guys a chance to succeed, but also be noticed. And, I think when you play an LSU or you play an Alabama or you play a Big Ten or an SEC team, you'll have a lot more eyeballs on you. And, certainly with the Alabama game this year and in 2012 when we played them, Quantera Smith had 3 sacks that game, and that shined a light on him that I don't think any other game would have done. And certainly the way Forrest Lamp played this year shined a light on him that no other game could have done. And somewhat lost in that, people make a big deal about how much we get paid, and certainly the payday for a game like that is great. But also I think how well our guys and our team really have competed. Even Alabama this year, we gave Alabama a better game than Southern Cal and Tennessee did, and we played in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee played them in Knoxville. Southern Cal played them on a neutral field. So our guys really respond to those kind of challenges, and it shines a favorable light on them, and it's really become a very positive thing.
I want to ask one more thing. You start off with Forrest and Taiwan. Todd, I know you're proud of the fact that 2 highest picks ever, but let's throw on the top of the fact that, I was looking around our sports office and I saw how many posters those 2 guys are on, and that doesn't happen if they're also not only good players, but good representatives of the university. They're just good dudes.
Absolutely, and there's a distinction, honestly, obviously that comes with being the highest drafted player ever and the second highest drafted player ever. I talk about shining a light. I think there's a brighter light shined on those 2 guys. That couldn't be better for our program, to have those 2 guys be the ones that are getting that kind of attention, because Forrest Lamp and Taiwan Taylor have been winners on the field and they've been winners off the field, and they've elevated our program in the process. And like I said earlier, they deserve every single thing that's coming their way, and I'm thrilled for them.
Thank you.